This is a message for you, my child, if you feel lost. For you, if you feel trapped, not by walls, but by the endless cycle of your own thoughts. For you, if you feel like you are drowning in a storm of confusion, anxiety, and fear, desperately searching for a direction, for a way out, you are not alone. There's an old story I wish to share about a man, a prophet named Jonah, who was also lost. He was running. He was trapped on a ship in the middle of a violent, life-threatening storm. But that physical storm was just an echo of the one raging inside his own heart. And his story reveals a profound, life-altering secret I have woven into creation. The moment he finally surrendered to me, the storm also surrendered. Perhaps it is in that very moment you die to yourselves, to your own failing plans, your stubborn resistance, the very thoughts that keep you prisoners, that you truly find your authentic selves and are finally saved. Let us pause on this word, surrender. In your world. My child, surrender is a dirty word. It implies defeat. It implies weakness, loss, and the shame of giving up. You are taught to fight, to strive, to control, to manifest your destiny. You grip the steering wheel of your lives with white knuckles, believing that if you just try harder, plan better, or push further, you can navigate the storms. But the story of Jonah teaches you a different kind of surrender. It is not the hopeless white flag of resignation. It is the hopeful, trusting release of relinquishment. It is the profound admission that the storm outside of you is often far less powerful than the storm inside of you. Jonah was not just fleeing from my command. He was fleeing from me. And in doing so, he was fleeing from his own purpose, his own peace. The wind and waves were merely an external echo of the rebellion raging in his heart. And so it is with you. You fight, you run, you hide. You build ships of your own making, careers, relationships, habits, ideologies, believing they will carry you away from the one thing I am asking of you. And all the while, the storm rages. You exhaust yourselves, bailing water, blaming the weather, blaming the other sailors, wondering why your lives are so full of chaos. The storm will not cease, my child, until the one running from me acknowledges the source of the tempest. This dying to self is the core of peace. It is the moment Jonah finally said, "This is my fault. The storm is for my sake." He stopped fighting the sailors, he stopped cursing the waves, and he faced the truth of his own resistance. In that moment of profound, terrifying honesty, he found the only path to peace. He had to be thrown over. He had to let go of the ship, let go of his plan, let go of his life as he knew it. And the moment he was cast into the sea, the chaos stopped. The sea ceased its raging. When the inner rebellion was surrendered, the outer turmoil found its rest. There is a wonderful truth I have set in place. When you have completely entrusted your life to me, you will no longer feel the need to submit, surrender, or fear anyone or anything else in the world. This is the great paradox. You are so afraid of surrendering to me, fearing you will lose your freedom, your identity, your control. But the truth is, the moment you surrender to me, who is love, you are, for the first time, truly free. You are no longer a slave to your own fears. You are no longer a slave to the expectations of others. You are no longer a slave to the storms of circumstance. When your life is anchored in me, the wind and the waves may still beat against you, but they no longer have the power to define you or destroy you. You are held. The story continues that after Jonah accepted his fate, the sailors took him from the ship and cast him into the sea. One man's disobedience had put all his companions in danger. This reminds you that the presence and choices of every individual carry immense significance. Your contribution, my child, whether a word or an action, matters more than you can imagine. You live in an age of hyper-individualism. You are told, your life is your own. Your choices only affect you. This is a profound lie. You are a tapestry woven together in intricate and invisible ways I designed. The threads of your life are connected to another's and theirs to the next. Jonah's no to me was not a private decision. It endangered an entire crew of innocent men. So, I ask you to look within your heart. What no in your heart is creating a storm for others? What call from me are you ignoring? What act of love are you withholding? What word of truth are you silencing? Whenever I place a word in your heart to speak, to a thing to do, and you hesitate, you don't say it or you don't do it, you may be inadvertently putting others at risk. Perhaps your no is robbing someone of the encouragement they need to survive another day. Perhaps your silence is allowing injustice to flourish. Perhaps your refusal to step into your purpose leaves a void that no one else can fill, and a storm begins to brew in that emptiness. You only have this one generation to reach and love your generation. And this is the question for you, my child. If not you, then who? If not now, then when? This is not a question to induce guilt, but to awaken purpose. It is the universe I created, gently reminding you that you are not an accident. Your voice is needed. Your gifts are required. You are part of my divine plan, and your participation matters. You were created for such a time as this. You know, second, third, fourth, or fifth, chances are not promised to anyone. Today is the day. Now is the moment. The storm is raging, and the world is waiting for you to say yes to the reason you are here. After the storm subsided, the records state that the men on the ship feared the Lord exceedingly. You see, at first, they feared the storm. Let's be clear about this first fear. It was a primal fear, the fear of annihilation. It was the frantic, desperate terror of the unknown. It was a fear centered on self-preservation. Their lives, their cargo, their ship, all were about to be lost. This fear is chaotic. It screams. It panics. But when they witnessed my power, a power that could command the sea itself, a power that responded to the surrender of one man, their fear was transformed. It became awe. This second fear, the fear of the Lord, is not terror. It is a breathtaking, heart-stopping, knee-bending reverence. It is the sudden, overwhelming realization of proportion. It is the moment a human being, standing in the presence of the truly divine, understands their own smallness and my infinite greatness. It doesn't make you run from me. It makes you fall before me. When you truly place this awe, this fear of me at the center of your lives, all other worldly fears begin to find their proper proportion. The fear of what people think, it shrinks. The fear of the economy, it diminishes. The fear of the future, the fear of failure, the fear of loneliness, the fear of death itself, they all become quiet in the presence of a reverence that is so much larger, so much more profound. When you fear me, my child, you fear nothing else. And what is the first and most natural response to this holy awe? Worship. The sailors, their hands still trembling, their clothes still soaked, offered a sacrifice to the Lord and made vows. At this point, there surely wasn't much left on the ship. I believe they had to throw much of the cargo overboard to save the vessel. Their wealth, their plans for commerce, their precious goods, all were likely at the bottom of the sea. They were saved, but they were ruined by worldly standards. But whatever was left, whatever livestock remained on deck, they offered it as a sacrifice to me. This is the nature of true sacrifice. It is not giving to me from your abundance. It is not a transaction. I give you this, you give me. True sacrifice is giving from what remains after the storm. It is looking at the wreckage of your lives, at the little you have left, and saying, even this, Lord, belongs to you. It is an act of total, grateful dependence. I do not want your leftovers given begrudgingly. I desire the what's left that is given in total adoration. It might be your broken heart. It might be your 2 small coins. It might be the last bit of strength you have. But when it is given in worship, it is a pleasing aroma to me. And after the sacrifice, they made vows. The sacrifice was for the past an acknowledgement of their rescue. The vows were for the future a promise of their allegiance. It is easy to be grateful in the immediate aftermath of a miracle. It is easy to feel close to me when the storm has just passed. But the true test of transformation is the vow. It is the what next. It is the commitment to live differently tomorrow because of what happened today. These sailors who had moments before been praying to their own gods now dedicated their lives to me, the one true God who commands the seas. Their lives were forever changed. They couldn't just go back to being ordinary sailors. They had encountered the divine. And so I designed this creation in such a marvelous way that when you, the created, truly encounter me, your creator, Your most basic instinct is to worship. To put it another way, if I, your Lord Jesus, am God and sacrificed myself for you, then no sacrifice is too great for you to offer back to me. A writer once said something profound. We can give without loving, but we cannot love without giving. You can give to charity for a tax write-off. You can give your time to a project to build your resume. You can give a compliment to get something in return. That is giving without loving. It is a transaction. But you cannot truly love without it overflowing into giving. A parent who loves their child must give time, energy, food, comfort. A friend who loves another must give a listening ear, support, loyalty, and a soul that has truly encountered my love must give back. Worship, sacrifice, and vows are not burdens. They are the natural, joyful, unstoppable overflow of a heart that has been rescued by me. Now we turn our attention back to Jonah. The sailors are safe, their ship is calm, but Jonah is in the deep. And the records say, now the Lord had prepared a great fish. These are perhaps the most comforting words in the entire story, my child, for I am the Lord who prepares. Let us be very clear. This fish was not a punishment. This fish was a rescue I had ordained. Jonah was not a strong swimmer. He was a prophet, not an Olympian. When he was thrown into the raging sea, he was drowning. His story was over. The rebellion, the storm, the surrender, it all led to a watery grave. But I, in my infinite foresight and tender mercy, had already set a rescue plan in motion. Before the storm, before the no perhaps, before Jonah was even born, I knew this moment would come. And so I prepared a fish. This turns your understanding of suffering on its head. What if the very thing that has swallowed you, my child, the situation that feels dark, suffocating, and inescapable is not your prison, but your protection? What if that job loss that felt like death was actually me rescuing you from a path that was destroying your soul? What if that sudden illness, which felt like a betrayal, was actually my prepared fish to pull you out of a life of frantic speed and force you into a place of stillness where you could finally hear my voice? What if that profound loneliness, that dark belly, is the place I have prepared to save you from shallow relationships and teach you to find your all in me? This is a severe mercy. The belly of a fish is not a pleasant place. We can imagine the darkness, the cold, the suffocating stench, the terror. It is a hard salvation, and yet it is salvation nonetheless. Jonah was alive. He was breathing in a place where he should have been dead. My preparation implies intention. It implies intimate, detailed knowledge. I didn't just find a passing fish. I prepared it. I providentially guided its biology, its appetite, its location in the vast sea to be at the exact coordinate, at the exact second, to intercept a falling prophet. I say all that to affirm this. There are no accidents in my plan. Your belly is not an accident. The darkness you find yourself in was not a surprise to me. I may not have caused it, but I prepared a way through it. I know how to use even the darkest, ugliest, most terrifying fish to accomplish my purpose and to save my child. Normally, you are the ones who catch fish, but I also know how to catch the fish that will catch you. I know how to design the fish that will catch you. For Moses, it was a burning bush. For Saul, it was a blinding light. For Jonah, it was a great fish. For you, it might be a book, a song, a stranger's kindness, or a painful crisis. I am infinitely creative in my methods of rescue. And so, Jonah was in the belly of the fish. How many of you, my children, have ever felt swallowed up by something? You have found yourself in the belly of a situation and you cannot see a way out. There is no light. It is just you and the crushing, suffocating reality of your circumstance. You feel digested by your own grief, your own failure, your own fear. This belly is a place of profound isolation. No one else can come in. No one on the ship knew where Jonah was. They probably assumed he was dead. When you are in the belly, you feel forgotten. You feel that the world has moved on, that the ship has sailed away, and you are left behind in the dark. This is also the place where self-sufficiency goes to die. In the belly, Jonah's strength meant nothing. His intellect meant nothing. His status as a prophet meant nothing. He couldn't swim out. He couldn't reason his way out. He couldn't command the fish to release him. He was utterly, completely helpless. And this, my child, is often the very place I need you to be. I must sometimes strip away everything you rely on, your status, your money, your plans, your strength, your reputation, until I am the only one left. The belly is a place designed to break your pride. It is a place that feels like a tomb, but it is, in fact, a womb. Something new is being formed in the darkness. Humility is being birthed. A new surrender is taking root. But here is a curious detail. Jonah was in the belly of the fish 3 days and 3 nights. And my word says that after this time, then Jonah prayed. This brings us to the question we asked earlier, but now it has new weight. Why did it take so long? Why 3 days of silence? Let us try to imagine those 3 days, my child. Day 1, shock, terror, disorientation. Jonah is alive, but where is he? He is in a dark, foul, slimy prison. The first day is likely spent in a haze of anger and self-pity. How could God do this to me? He is still the defiant prophet. He is rescued, but his heart is not yet surrendered. He is silent, but it is a stubborn, angry silence. Day 2, despair. The reality sets in. This is not a dream. The air is foul. The darkness is total. Hope begins to fade. This is the sickness of the deep. This is the day of true brokenness. The anger fades, replaced by a cold, hollow despair. He realizes he is completely, utterly trapped. His pride is crushed, but it has not yet been replaced by prayer. It has been replaced by hopelessness. He is at the end of himself. Day 3, the breakthrough. After the shock, after the anger, after the despair, something shifts. He has nothing left. His ego is shattered, his plans are gone, his life is forfeit, and in that absolute, rock-bottom nothingness, he finally remembers. He remembers who I am. He is not just the God of the land, he is the God of the sea. He is not just the God of storms, he is the God of the deep. And from that place, he finally prays. This is a mirror for you, isn't it? Why has it taken you so long? You sit in your belly. Day 1, you're angry. You blame your boss, your ex, the government, or me. Day 2, you despair. You binge watch shows, you numb yourselves, you give up. You are too broken to even be angry anymore. Day 3, you finally crack. You realize your anger didn't work. Your despair didn't work. Your own solutions are useless. And finally, you look up. Sometimes, my child, it's not that you are waiting on me. It is I who am patiently, lovingly waiting on you. I am waiting for you to finish your tantrums, to exhaust your own solutions, to cry out your despair until all that is left is the simple, humble, powerful act of turning to me. After 3 days and 3 nights, finally, Jonah finally prayed to me, the Lord. You know, it is so important to have parents, aunts, and uncles praying for you, to have siblings, pastors, and grandparents interceding. That is a true blessing. Their prayers create a covering for you. Their prayers may have even been part of the preparation of the fish that saved you. But there are some things that will not change. There are some bellies you will not be released from unless you learn to pray for yourself. There comes a point where the prayers of others have carried you as far as they can. Now, I am waiting to hear your voice. I want the relationship to be personal. I am waiting for your surrender, your cry. Until you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, some things in your lives will not shift. Some answers to prayer seem to be on a special frequency. I can't quite explain it, but it's not the frequency of a casual, God help me out prayer. It's the frequency of desperation. It's the frequency of raw honesty. There are times you have just said, Lord, I've cried, please help me. And it's as if I reply, when you really won't help, the next time, God, come on, please help me. And I still seem to say, when you're really serious. But then after a while, when you are at the end of your day 2, you have to cry out, Lord, would you please help me? And that cry, it comes from the very bottom of your heart, from the belly. It unlocks everything. And there are moments in your journey when a casual prayer, a polite prayer, a religious prayer. It just won't do. I am waiting for the real, unfiltered, desperate cry from the depths of your soul. Finally, Jonah prayed to me. And look at where he prayed from inside the fish's belly. This, right here, is the message for so many of you today. My children, Jonah did not wait until he was out of the problem to pray. He did not say, God, as soon as you get me onto dry land, I will be so grateful and I will pray and worship you. He prayed from the mess. He prayed from the darkness. He prayed from the prison. This message today is for you if you are still in the middle of it. You have been asking me for a way out, but you still feel stuck. The temptation is to stop praying, to think, what's the use? Nothing is changing. But I am saying, no, this is exactly the place to pray from. Don't stop. Pray from the belly. Your prayer from the belly is perhaps the most powerful and authentic prayer you will ever pray. It is a prayer without pretense. It is a prayer stripped of all pride. It is the prayer of a soul that has nowhere else to turn. And that is a prayer I will not ignore. Jonah begins to tell his story. He says, in my distress, I called to the Lord. Not in my comfort, not in my righteousness, but in my distress. Why is that? Why does it often take affliction, distress, and the belly before you cry out with the desperation you need to? My word in Psalm 119 says, it was good for me to be afflicted so that I might learn your decrees. Yes, that is the stuff of maturity. Because when you are young, you don't understand affliction. It feels unfair. It feels like punishment. But when you have lived long enough, you understand there are certain lessons. There is a certain depth of intimacy with me that you can only learn when you have been afflicted, when you have been through something, when you have felt the seaweed wrap around your head, when you have come to the end of yourself. King David, a man who knew many bellies, said it in Psalm 18. In my distress, I called to the Lord. If he had not been in distress, perhaps he would not have called. Perhaps he would have watched another television show. Perhaps he would have called another friend. But because my distress, it got bad enough that he had to find himself on his knees. In my distress, I called to the Lord, and he heard my voice from his temple. Unfortunately, sometimes affliction is the only way you will learn. Sometimes affliction is the only way your hard heads will learn the lesson. And so, I must sometimes reluctantly send you to the school of trials, to the classroom of the fish's belly. And so from the suffocating darkness, Jonah prayed. And he said, and he answered me. These are the words that bridge the gap between absolute despair and dawning hope. He is still in the fish. Nothing in his physical circumstance has changed. He is still in that dark, cold, terrifying prison. But something in his spirit has changed. He has made contact. The cry sent out from the deep has been received in the heights of heaven. This is the first lesson of belly praying. The power is not in the answer you receive. The power is in the connection you make with me. The moment you cry out and know you are heard, you are no longer alone in the dark. The darkness is still dark, but it is no longer empty. But what did he pray? This is what is so remarkable. If it were you, my child, what would your prayer be? 99% of you would pray one prayer: God, get me out of here. It would be a prayer of bargaining. God, I'll do anything. I'll go to Nineveh. I'll go anywhere. Just get me out. I promise I'll be good. I'll never run again. Just open this fish. That is not what Jonah prayed. We do not hear a single request for rescue, not one. What we read in the 2nd chapter of Jonah is not a prayer of supplication. It is a prayer of declaration. It is not a prayer of bargaining. It is a prayer of worship. Jonah begins by acknowledging my sovereignty over his situation. He says, you hurled me into the deep, into the very heart of the seas, and the currents swirled about me. All your waves and breakers swept over me. Did you catch that? You hurled me. He doesn't say, the sailors threw me over. He doesn't say, the storm caught me. He says, you did this. This is a profound shift in perspective. As long as you are blaming the sailors in your lives, the boss who fired us, the partner who left us, the unfairness of the system, you are still victims. You are still powerless. But when from the belly, you can finally say, God, I see your hand in this. The sailors were just the instrument. The storm was just the tool. You have allowed this. You have brought me here. Suddenly, everything changes. If I am the one who hurled you into the deep, then I am also the only one who can command the deep. The one who allowed the waves to sweep over you is the only one who can raise you up from them. This acknowledgement is the first step out of victimhood and into faith. Then Jonah names his deepest pain. It's not the seaweed. It's not the darkness. He says, I have been banished from your sight. This is it. This is the true hell of the belly. It's not the physical discomfort. It is the spiritual desolation. It is the horrifying feeling that your sin, your rebellion, your running has finally taken you too far. It is the belief that you have finally outrun my grace. It is the terror of my silence. I have been banished from your sight. How many of you, my children, have felt that? In the belly of your depression, your addiction, your grief. The physical pain is one thing, but the true agony is the feeling that I am distant, that your prayers are just hitting the slimy walls of your prison and falling dead at your feet, that you are, finally and truly, alone. Jonah gives voice to this agony. He is honest. I am not afraid of your honest pain, my child. I am not offended by your feeling of abandonment. I want you to bring it to me. But Jonah does not stay there. He names the despair, and then he makes a pivot. It is the single most important turn in the entire prayer. Banished from your sight, yet I will look again toward your holy temple. This word, yet, is the engine of faith I have given you. It is the hinge upon which your salvation swings. It is the choice to believe against the evidence. The evidence? I am banished. The feeling? I am in the dark. The reality? I am in the belly of a fish at the bottom of Paris, the world. The choice? Yet. I will look. He cannot see the temple. He cannot see the light. He cannot see anything. He is looking in his mind. He is turning his heart toward the last place he remembered, my presence. This is hope. Hope is not the absence of despair. Hope is the stubborn choice to look toward me in spite of your despair. He continues to describe just how low he went. The engulfing waters threatened me. The deep surrounded me. Seaweed was wrapped around my head. To the roots of the mountains I sank down. The earth beneath barred me in forever. This is the language of the grave. Seaweed wrapped around my head. This is what happens to a drowned man. Roots of the mountains. The earth beneath barred me in. This is the imagery of Sheol, of the underworld. Jonah is saying, I was dead. By all rights, my story was over. I was a corpse, sinking to the bottom of the ocean. And then comes the declaration of faith. Barred me in forever. But you, Lord my God, brought my life up from the pit. Wait a minute. Look at the tense of that verb. You brought my life up. Past tense. Where is Jonah when he is praying this? He is still in the fish. He has not been rescued yet. He is still in the pit. But he is speaking of his rescue as if it has already happened. This is the prayer that moves me. It is faith. Faith is not, God, I hope you will save me. Faith is, God, I thank you that you are my salvation, even while the seaweed is wrapped around my head. Faith is declaring my goodness before the rescue is visible. It is standing on my character when the circumstances of your life are screaming the opposite. How did he get to this place of faith? He tells us, when my life was ebbing away, I remembered you, Lord. This is the key. In the darkness, when his life was draining out of him, when despair had him by the throat, he remembered. What did he remember? He remembered my faithfulness. He remembered my promises. He remembered that I was merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in love. He remembered that the God who made the dry land also made the sea. He remembered that I am the God of the second chance. When you are in the belly, my child, and you have nothing else, you have your memory of my goodness, and you must preach to yourself. You must remind your own soul of who I am. David did it. Why, my soul, are you so downcast? Put your hope in God, for I will yet praise him. He was preaching to himself. Jonah, in the dark, remembered me. And that act of remembrance was the lifeline that pulled him from the pit of despair. And from this place of remembrance, comes the climax of his prayer, a moment of stunning clarity and rededication. Those who cling to worthless idols forfeit the grace that could be theirs. This is the aha moment. In the darkness of the belly, I give you clarity. You suddenly see the worthless idols you have been clinging to. What was Jonah's idol? It wasn't a golden statue. His idol was his own will. His idol was his nationalism. His idol was his comfort. His idol was his own idea of what I should be and what I should do. And he realizes in that moment that clinging to that idol, running to Tarshish, is what cost him his peace. It cost him his purpose. It forfeited the grace that could have been his. What are your worthless idols that the belly is exposing? Is it your career, your reputation, your need to be right, your bank account, your relationship, your addiction? That thing you run to for comfort instead of me? The belly is my grace-filled X-ray, showing you the idols you have been clinging to, the idols that have been creating the storm. And once he has identified the idol, he lays it down. But I, with shouts of grateful praise, will sacrifice to you what I have vowed I will make good. Salvation comes from the Lord. This is the pinnacle, with shouts of grateful praise. From where? From the belly. He is not waiting to be rescued to be grateful. He is already grateful in the rescue he cannot yet see. I will sacrifice to you. What sacrifice does he have? He has nothing. He is naked in a fish's belly. He has the only sacrifice that I truly want, a broken and contrite heart, a sacrifice of praise, a sacrifice of his will. What I have vowed I will make good. This is not a bargain. This is a result. He is not saying, I'll make my vow good if you get me out. He is saying, I am so grateful for the salvation I know is coming that my only response is to get back on track. My only response is to fulfill my purpose. My will is yours again. And he concludes with a great theme of the entire book. Salvation comes from the Lord, not from the sailors, not from the ship, not from my own strength, not from my running away, not even from this fish. My salvation, my wholeness, my purpose, my life. It all comes from me and me alone. And what happens after this prayer? After Jonah has acknowledged my sovereignty, after he has named his despair, but pivoted to hope, after he has declared my rescue by faith before it happened, after he has remembered my character, after he has identified and repented of his idolatry, after he has offered a sacrifice of praise from the pit, after his will is finally realigned with mine, then and only then. And the Lord commanded the fish, and it vomited Jonah onto dry land. Do you see, my child? The prayer did not change my mind, the prayer changed Jonah. And when Jonah was changed, the circumstance was commanded to change. You are so often praying, God, change my circumstance, get me out of this fish. And I am lovingly whispering back, I will. But first I need you to let this circumstance change you. I am not just trying to get you out of this, I am trying to get something into you. I am building your faith. I am exposing your idols. I am teaching you to worship from the dark. I am reminding you that salvation comes from me alone. The purpose of the belly is not just to contain you, it is to transform you. The fish's mouth did not open until Jonah's heart did. And when that inner transformation was complete, when the prayer of true surrender and worship was finally prayed, the next step of the journey was ready. The fish had done its job. It was time for dry land. It was time for the second chance. And so, my friend, my child, if you are in the belly today, stop begging to get out and start praying the prayer of Jonah. Acknowledge my hand. Be honest about your despair, but make the yet pivot to hope. Remember my goodness, identify your idols, and offer a sacrifice of praise right from where you are. Because when you are changed in the belly will lose its power over you. And in my perfect time, I will speak to your circumstance, and you will find yourself on dry land once again, ready for the purpose I have for you. I have shared this with you on this journey today because I love you. And I pray that you have learned something new, something that will help propel your relationship with me forward. Have a peaceful day, and please remember, even and especially in the darkest belly of the fish, your prayer is always, always heard by me.